Hi there guys, Italia Autos here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. And now it's been a long time coming, but the GT VV6 is finally on the ramp. If you remember, the head gasket's gone in quite a big way. So now, I want to remove the engine so we can go over the complete engine, change the shells if need be, just make sure everything's okay with that engine so it's in tip-top condition. We're also going to be tidying up the engine bay because, as you can see, it's a little bit riffy after we had the coolant explosion. So while it's apart as well, I'm going to be removing everything off the engine and repainting it. So it's a huge job to remove the engine on this. It's probably about 4 or 5 hours to get the engine out of this. I'm going to start by removing the subframe, and hopefully I can have it back on its wheels by the end of today so I can push it off the ramp and put it outside until the engine's been fully checked over. And of course some of you are going to say, well, why don't you just replace the head gaskets? Because that's not a proper job. I want the engine out of this car so it can be checked thoroughly, because they are common for crank seal leaks, they're common for leaks on the front of the crank, they're common for leaks everywhere. So I want to make sure this car is done properly before it goes off to its new owner when I've finished it. Whilst it's apart, I haven't had a look at the floor pan on this. Needs a little bit of TLC along here where that panel was. A little bit of TLC up here. Hopefully it doesn't need any welding, but I'm sure it might do. And this side again, surface rust there. The floor pan itself is in really good condition, and we've got a lovely aftermarket exhaust on there. There's a little bit of an oil leak here. Oil cooler appears to be not leaking, but yeah, not too bad. And now onto removing these exhaust bolts. One of them is already missing, and they're not 13s, they're 14s, and that's a 12. So let's get some other stuff. Now this is normally where we have some snapping. Shall I bother getting some heat on it? Yeah, I will. So apart from a few broken bolts on the exhaust, that came off quite easily. We do need some new wishbones as there's lots of play in there. Other than that, we're going to need to repair the broken bolts on the exhaust. As you can see, they've snapped there. And I think one snapped at the back as well. You've got one here, and then this one was missing here as well. So that's another good reason for having the car off, so I can repair these off the car. So big long list of things still to do. I'm just going to put the drive shaft down here while I think about it. We need to remove the power steering pump. The oil cooler has got to come off. Not come off, but I've got to take it off to mount so I can then drop it down. All the electrical connections at the top, and then it's some engine mounts, some earth straps. There's the oil sensor at the back. O2 sensors need to be unplugged as well. Air filter box has got to come out. Got to drain the fluids out of it as well. Nearly forgot about that. So let's get on to that now. Oh dear, yeah, look at that oil. Head gasket's definitely gone in that. What lovely oil that is. As the AC is still gassed, I'm going to remove the compressor with the pipes on, so we don't have to let out the gas out. If it'll come off. I have already done the belt as well. Now that's out, let's drop the ramp down a bit so we can remove the oil cooler from its mount up there. Now that's out of the way, we can move on to the power steering pipes. I have already drained the fluid out, but I bet there'll still be some left, and there is. Good job I put my container on the floor. Right, if you can see right the way down there, I have just managed to get my socket on the power steering nut. And now, let's try and get it undone, but I need two hands to undo it. This one, when I'm putting the engine back in, will get done up when the engine's dropped down a bit. Right, looking over the engine bay now. Right, got to undo the coolant pipes. I've undone the oil sensor. There's the pipes to get off here. There's the electrical connections in the box here. There's the ECU to get off and store safely elsewhere. Two more pipes here. I want to remove the intake pipe and some of the other pipe work. Remove the relays, remove the battery and the battery tray. And the last thing then to do is to remove the coolant, which I will bet you I'll forget to do it. And it'll be the last thing I need to do, and it'll just go everywhere. Charge up and see if it's got any light in it. Now we're going to do the clutch pipe. Just going to pinch it ever so slightly. It doesn't need much force onto it. And then we'll undo the pipe work so we can then just put it out of the way. If I can get it undone. There we go, leave that over there out of the way, and we shouldn't need to bother with that part for a while. Now we need to move on and removing the shifting rods. Should be fairly straightforward. And then knock off the clip if I can find my hammer. The clips are just down the back here. One on the floor. Twist this one up to be good in the air. Doing this blind pretty much, so I can't see much down here. There we go. The cables can now come out. Right, I suppose now we'd better do the coolant. Oh yeah, good stuff. I'd almost forgot, most of the coolant is already gone because of how much spurted out when it overheated and the amount which has probably gone into the engine, into the oil, so no coolant to worry about. Now this is probably the most expensive part on the car other than the engine, so this is going to go into a safe place. So a couple more cooling pipes, and then I think the only thing left holding the engine in is the engine mount. So while I'm on this side of the engine, I'm going to undo this one here. Fresh battery and away we go. Hopefully anyway, there we go. Should have supported the engine a bit, but oh well. Right, I think I'm ready to drop the last two engine mounts off now. So comment below and tell me what I forgot, because I'm sure there's something. They're always in these V6 engines. So pull in my little forklift and raise the engine up a little bit so it's flat, and then we can drop it down. It looks clear that side. Right, so we're all free. It is now resting on the forklift, and now I just need to lower it down bit by bit just to make sure everything's out the way, because I do know O2 sensors can catch on the back and the front, because it is a little bit tight of room when dropping it down. That was the drive shaft making noise then, so I haven't quite moved that out of the way. Engine mount just rubbing against power steering cooler. Out of the way, just catching along the front. Loose there. Two sensors are now free. Take it down a little bit more. Whew, she's free at long last. I think it's about 2 o'clock now, so with a break and all that, it's taken me about 5.5 hours. So a little bit longer than I thought, but I have been a little bit more sensitive with the old girl, making sure that I don't break anything or pull any wires out, because parts are getting a little bit expensive for these now. So she's all free. Let's jack that car up in the air so the engine is free to be pulled out. So it's got to be time for a cup of tea now. I'll go and have a cup of tea and then we'll have a look over the engine, so join me in a second. That's better, feeling a little bit more refreshed now, so let's have a look over this engine and see what we can see on the outside of what else we'll need doing to it. Right, for starters, we've got, is that an oil leak? A little bit of an oil leak from there, nothing major. And again, it's had one at the back there. Alternator's looking okay, but it might be worthwhile getting this and the starter motor refurbished just to save any hassle. But the starter motor is all tucked behind there. Gearbox is a gearbox, nothing really to see there really. We do need a new CV joint and some more grease to go in there and get it all cleaned out. A little bit of an oil leak coming from the oil pump seal, so that is going to want to get changed. So, I mean, it's stuff like that which makes you glad you take the engine out, because that little oil leak there couldn't have been done very easily with the engine in. So overall, the engine isn't in too bad of condition, but I am glad I've removed it so it can all be checked out thoroughly and come back like a new engine. I'm also going to paint and restore everything on the sides and top of the engine so it all looks nice and pretty. I think we're also going to be doing a modification with the manifolds to get rid of these horrible catalytic converters, fit some aftermarket manifolds without cats in. It's going to need some new downpipes as well, but I think we'll probably want those with the manifolds anyway. CV boo, gaskets, seals, cam belt kit, clutch. Let's have a look at the rest of the chassis. It's okay, to be honest. A little bit of surface rust up there, but that's from the mount more than anything. That's just a bit of staining. It might be worthwhile just wax oiling inside the front legs while it's here. But yeah, overall, no rust to report really on that chassis legs. Worst bit is over here and over there. We are now a few weeks later. Engine has been out and I've been stripping it slowly when I've had a bit of spare time, and we're now to the point where we just need to undo the heads, pull the heads off and have a look at how bad the head gaskets are. So let's get cracking on it and then we can end the video. And now we're just going to pick these washers out. Some of them will come out nice and easy, and some of them you can't get in to get out. Right, everything's off now apart from a couple of washers, 2 on this side. So let's use my rubber mallet to see if we can get this head off. Oh dear. Tune in to the next episode to find out how bad it is. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.